Hello, welcome to the Coop. My name is Fowl Gaming. Welcome to the first ever episode of Coop Corner Chat. Firstly, can I get a massive thanks and hype in the comments for my editor and YouTube manager Drybones, who created that lovely intro for me. I appreciate it, buddy. Now, firstly, what is Coop Corner Chat? As this is the first ever episode, I will explain more about what this segment is. This is going to be a weekly video, which will be about 5 to 6 minutes long, where I'm going to talk about a controversial topic in the gaming community. So, for example, today's topic is going to be about toxic behavior in Dead by Daylight, or toxic behavior in gaming in general. So each video I will have 5 minutes to discuss my opinions on a controversial topic, and then in the comments section you guys can put in your views and also put in which topic you'd like me to discuss next. So without any further ado, we are going to get into the first topic now. Let's go. So the first topic is going to be discussing toxicity in the gaming community. 5 minutes on the clock, let's go. So, to begin with, what is toxic behavior? So toxic behavior is doing something in an online competitive multiplayer game which is intentional to cause harassment or some form of annoyance to the other player at the other end. Now, my first opinion on this is that there is no room for toxicity in gaming. There is no reason to do something toxic to annoy the other person that is justified in my eyes. But let's talk about what is toxic behavior to begin with. And I'm going to be talking mostly about the game Dead by Daylight, as that's the game that I see it most, but I'm sure you can take these examples into games that you play. So to begin with, what is toxic behavior in Dead by Daylight? On Survivor side, toxic behavior is teabagging, flashlight clicking, or just generally doing something like jumping over windows really quickly, backwards and forwards to annoy the killer. For being a killer, toxic behavior is things like smacking players on the hook, nodding or shaking your head, or intentionally basically locking someone within a game, like slugging them and just leaving them and not doing anything about it. So there's a few topics I'd like to talk about firstly when it comes to Dead by Daylight toxicity. Are perks toxic? In my opinion, no, they are not. Things like DS, Unbreakable, things like NOED, Franklin's, none of these perks are toxic in my eyes, per se. The fact they are in the game is not toxic. If the devs put something in the game that the player can choose and will have a better chance at winning the game, then fantastic, use it. Even Moris, I would go as far to say, aren't toxic. If they are in the game, you can't say it's toxic for a player to use them when they are there. Complain to the devs, complain about the game, but don't complain about the players. Now, there is a slight caveat to that. If players decide to run perks purely to annoy the other player. For example, if you're a killer and you see that you're against a Twitch.tv player or you're against a Survivor Friends, and you decide that because you're against a Survivor Friends, you're going to run a build which is NOED and Franklin's purely to annoy them or get a reaction out of them, that is toxic. Same thing for playstyles in Dead by Daylight. So let's talk about some playstyles that are normally considered toxic. Gen rushing, camping, tunneling. These sorts of things are considered toxic quite often, but are they actually? No. Gen rushing. That's doing gens. That's the strategy you need to do to win the game. Camping or tunneling. If it means that you get a guaranteed kill or get more kills for it, if you hadn't have done it, you wouldn't have got those kills. That's you trying to win the game. Is it fun for the other side? No. But is it a valid tactic? Absolutely is. But then it goes the same thing as the perks. If you do it purely to harass the other players, if a survivor has looped you for 3 minutes and they've frustrated you so much that you decided that you're now going to tunnel and then camp them and just stand in front of them and throw the rest of the game just because you wanted them, that is toxic and shouldn't be done. So again, we quite often jump to say someone's toxic just because they tunneled or camped, but that doesn't necessarily mean they've actually done toxic behavior. The next bit of toxicity in Dead by Daylight is endgame chat, and you see this a lot in other games when there is some way of talking to other players in in-game chat or voice chat, and unfortunately it's done all the time, and there is no place for toxicity in in-game chat. Just because you've won the game and you've done well is no reason to then harass the other person and go, ha, GG easy, you were terrible, get good next time. You've won the game, you've won. Take the win and move on. You don't need to harass someone. Be happy that you won. If anything, maybe even give a bit of advice and say, hey, I won because of this. This is where you made your mistakes. That can sometimes go quite badly, but I'm making a point. And it goes the other way. If the other player has won and you've lost, don't be salty and just take the loss. Even if they've tunneled you, camped you, moried you, whatever. As long as they haven't done it in a toxic way, as long as they haven't done it to you just because it's you for whatever reason, Twitch.tv, or because you've looped them forever. If they've just done it because that's what they want to do to play the game, it happened. It's a game. move on, take the next one. There's no reason to then get angry and piss them off. So I've got a minute left, and let's talk about how we can counter toxic behavior. So if someone is toxic to you, that does not give you an excuse to be toxic back to them or to be toxic to the next person. That means it's going to spiral. If I'm toxic to you, you're going to be toxic to the next person. That person's going to be toxic to the next person. And it gets to the point where everyone is toxic. If someone's toxic to you and you just go, you know what, okay, GG, move on to the next one, or don't even reply, don't even read it, there you go, it breaks the cycle and it's fine. Maybe even try and be wholesome. Someone's toxic to you, reply back, no worries, GG, well played, I'll do better next time. And next time, maybe they now won't be toxic because they have seen wholesomeness in the game. I'm not saying we ought to hold hands and skip through merry fields to play the game. It's a competitive game, go out to win, but there's no reason to upset the other person on the other end of the screen or piss them off for it. Anyway, that has been 5 minutes of me talking about toxicity in gaming and specifically in Dead by Daylight. I'd love to hear your opinions. Has anything I've said gone against what you think? Do you agree or disagree with anything I've said? Or do you think I've missed anything potentially? Pop it in the comments and I will reply to every single one. You can also put in the comments what you want me to talk about next week. I have got some other topics I am planning to talk about, but if I see any topics that you guys think are good, then I will definitely do a video on them. Thank you very much for watching. If you'd like to see me live on Twitch, you can check out the link below this video. And you can also check out my highlights videos to see what I get up to in streams. Thank you very much, guys. Have a lovely evening. See you later.